Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to continue on with some of the, herbs, spices, things like that as we go into winter, and they're more popular in the winter months also. So I want to, because a lot of times you'll use them, just during these times, certain, dishes, holidays, and stuff like that. So you'll know the benefits and, like the whole thing I say, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Favorite quote of mine, because this just incorporate these things differently, and a lot of you may, and then you'll realize the benefits it's giving you. And then we prevent things. I'm all about preventive care from taking hold or something happening, or if we maybe start having some symptoms, we have these things on hand. Very simple. It doesn't have to be, all these things are pretty simple. You don't have to make them difficult. I understand it can seem very overwhelming because it seems like a lot of information all at once, and that rush to get things. But a lot of this simple things, herbs, spices, different things you can have on hand, just incorporating them in, and you'll be good to go. So what it is today is allspice, which comes from the Pimenta de oca tree is what it's called. That's, the term, but most people know it's allspice, but it's actually a dried berry that comes from that tree. Now you can use the leaves in culinary different things. They kind of remind me like of a bay leaf or something. But it is the dried berries. They pick them, they're usually like a green. And then when they, dry them and preserve them and stuff, you can, and or you can get it in a powder form. I recommend usually having both on hand just in case they turn like that brown color. So they are high in omega-3, vitamin A, niacin, folate, vitamin C, calcium, iron, magnesium, potassium, zinc, and psyllium. Is a good anti-inflammatory. And I always say, inflammation is kind of that root cause of disease and things taking hold because of the inflammation we get in our body. So you can use this. You can make a poultice or an oil. There is an essential oil you can buy that is allspice. I've said numerous times, I cannot and do not use essential oils. If I do anything, I do infused oils I make. But so you can make this yourself, like how I talk about doing infused oils or doing a poultice or, anything like that. Or even throwing these, the berries into a bath and doing a soak or a foot soak or anything with them. All that works good for, inflammation issues like, muscle pain, joint pain, even gout. I would suggest if you have gout, is do a poultice and put it on there and do a little wrap for a while. And that helps. It does stimulate our digestive enzymes. And I talk a lot about they don't have the proper enzymes. And then they're treated for, we're treated for GERD or we're treated for other GI issues, but it has to do with digestive enzymes are off. So anything that, would cause, you're having, vomiting and diarrhea, it's going to balance those enzymes, for you and help that. It is a good immune booster because, the things I named, what it has in it, vitamins and minerals and stuff. But it is also good for things like E. coli, listeria, and salmonella because it kind of wants to allspice will neutralize bacteria. So when you ingest that, it helps it from taking hold in your body if something had a bacteria or anything in it. And so my thing about, with allspice and other ones also is incorporating that somewhat regular or using it in your culinary, put it in your tea, whatever you want to do, because a lot, like I've said before, the Oregon Trail, right? When things get really bad and crap hits the fan, the last thing you want is to get sick and down with something, a GI issue of any sort like that, because you can get dehydrated very quickly and, it weakens you, and it sometimes takes a long time to recover from things like that. So we incorporate these things, preventive care from things happening. Great antioxidant. Listen to this one because, I talk about oxidative stress and having antioxidants in our body because the vitamin A, the vitamin C, and the eugenol, I talked about that before with the cloves and stuff, and it has natural quercetin in it, okay? And it has tannins in it, which all of that will help rid our body of free radicals. And I talk about what free radicals do in our body. And free radicals and that oxidative stress is one of the number one things that cause the big C. Again, preventive care. So any of that or having that, allspice. And it does have really good antimicrobial properties, which makes this, like cloves, a really, really good one for your oral care. Gum disease, anything like that, you can make like a steep, like a strong kind of a tea with allspice, and then do that as a like a mouth rinse, a mouth, a gargle, anything like that. Because that's another thing I talked about before, is taking care of your oral care, and not to get any kind of infection, because that can travel quickly to other areas of your body and be very dangerous. And anything with a toothache or tooth infection can be extremely painful. It does have a warming effect, so because of that, it improves circulation, and internal and external. Like I've talked about, doing a poultice, doing an oil with it or whatever, and rub on different affected areas. If you have arthritis or anything like that, you need to get circulation to a certain area, do that topically for that. It is good overall, kind of heart health. It can show to reduce the blood pressure. Again, always be safe. It's not something I would say, oh, take this. It's the only thing for high blood pressure, but it's good to incorporate into. Now, it can act as a stimulant, but not a stimulant like you would think, like a caffeine stimulant, okay? Because it has iron in it, and iron is going to help circulate oxygen throughout our body and throughout of our brain. It kind of gets rid of that sluggish feeling. That's the type of stimulant I'm talking about, not a revved up caffeine-induced type stimulant at all. Brain health, because the vitamin A and the folate is good for your brain functions, depression, cognitive disorders, allspice, include it in the diets. Diabetes, it does help with diabetes because it helps the metabolism of the glucose and the insulin. Okay, but this isn't something I'm saying take in place of. This is, I talk about everything working together and balancing to work in the proper function it's supposed to. That is what this is. Now, it does help with menstrual and menopause type symptoms. It does help. It does help fight bacteria and fungal infections. So I recommend cooking and preserving foods with allspice often. Because of that, you don't want anything growing or anything if you had a fungal or bacteria infection topically or internal. It's good to take. Now, warnings. There are warnings with this one. Some people can be allergic to it because it is a berry, and some people who are more prone to certain things like that, be careful. You haven't had it, haven't taken it, take powdered, make a little poultice out of the powder, even do the skin patch test, take a little bit, taste it, see how you're doing. Some people are more sensitive to a topical rash. The warming, it can affect them that way. You can always, do that if you don't want to do it, do it with a little bit of coconut oil. Mix it with coconut oil and put it on, or, the olive oil, whichever one you want to do it. Now, I will say, people who have diverticulitis or ulcer colitis, you should not have allspice. You should just avoid that, because it can send that into a flare. It just aggravates it. Now, if you have liver cancer, anything with eugenol, you don't take a lot of that if you have like liver cancer or something like that, because while it helps the liver, it can also cause problems with the liver. If your liver is already that damaged from something that severe, I would avoid it. And also people, same with that same compound, if you have a clotting disorder, if you are on blood thinners or anything like that, I would not use that for medicinal. Now, if you want to use it like, you're seasoning different food, allspices and a lot of things, especially, this fall, winter type foods we usually eat, holiday type foods, has that. It's not going to bother you. But using it on a medicinal level and strength, like I said with the other one, with the cloves, if you're on blood thinners or have clotting disorders, do not take that at a medicinal level. Okay, that could be very dangerous. And I always want you guys to be safe. But one to have on hand, get extra as we're going into fall and winter. You may get it normally because, like I said, you'll use it in these dishes, but something really good to have on hand. It's really simple. It's not really expensive. So something else I hope helps you guys. Everyone stay well, God bless, and I will see you next time.